watched the show last week, you'd know that I've been exploring the Satara district in southern Maharashtra in the fabulous Fiat Avventura. Now, last week, I set off to discover the small towns of Kas, Sajangarh and Thosegar. And today, I have several new places on my list that I'm eager to see because this region truly has so much to offer. Now, the Avventura has been an extremely reliable travel companion. It's a car that's fast, smooth and comfortable and yet has high enough ground clearance that even unpaved terrain is a breeze. And that's a huge asset on a trip like this. But now let's get rolling.
Where the river Krishna meets its tributary, the Veena, stands the former capital of the Maratha Empire, Satara. It's a region with a lot of little towns and villages worth exploring. There's lots to do for a long weekend trip. Its historic past is still visible in the form of its monuments that are declared protected heritage sites now.
This Avventura is powered by a 1.3-litre diesel engine which pumps out 93 PS, and that's quite enough power for this car on the highway. I'm really enjoying being behind the wheel. It's also a very comfortable car. The seats are generously proportioned and the power steering feels great to hold. I thought my first stop today ought to be the Sangam Mahuli, the confluence of the rivers Krishna and Veena, a truly holy spot. And the water here looks cool and clear. The banks are dotted with temples. It's clearly a place that's considered extremely auspicious by all those who visit.
Walking along the riverbed and appreciating the lovely architecture that lines the banks, time seemed to stand still. The place certainly has an aura of peace and tranquility. Such a welcome change from the bustle of city life.
This is the famous Kashi Visheshwar temple built in honor of Lord Shiva. It's the biggest and most auspicious temple at the Sangam, and it houses a bell installed in the 17th century by a Maratha king. The temple itself is several hundred years older and it's very, very beautiful. Cloudy day like today, and after all that sightseeing, I've certainly worked up an appetite, and there's nothing quite like a vada pav and some hot bhajiyas on a day like this, especially to hit the spot. There's something about this soft pav and the crispy vada and these yummy bhajiyas and of course the green chilies that just feels so right on a monsoon day, especially when paired with a cup of chai. So without further ado, grey on my drive here, but it looks like the skies have cleared up quite a bit, which is perfect because I can really appreciate the beautiful views of the city in the distance. The aerial views from the top of Ajinkya Tara Fort are amazing, and I'm feeling really lucky that the fog has all cleared up so I can really take them in.
The moss and foliage that the monsoon has brought really gives the fort a fairy tale feel.
I drove up Ajinkya Hill to come check out the fort at the top, which is where Shivaji actually used to look over all of southern Maharashtra from, so it's historically of great significance to the region.
Now time to drive a bit more as I head toward Chalkewadi to see the windmill farms. Another feature that makes the Avventura great for a road trip is the fact that you can fit in quite a bit of luggage. The spare tire is on the exterior, so you have plenty of boot space. There's also the roof rail in case you want to bring along adventure gear like a bicycle or kayak. Plus, there's extra storage space under the seats as well.
I've come to the Chalkewadi windmill farm, and as you can see, there are lots of windmills dotting all the adjoining hills in the distance. Now, the sight of these huge turbines on the grassy landscape is an unexpectedly beautiful stop. And I'm really overwhelmed by the size of these windmills. The scale is just so massive and it's hard to translate in a photograph. So you're going to have to come here and see for yourself. What a memorable trip this has been. From the greenery to the monuments, there's been so much for me to see on this trip. And driving the Fiat Avventura has been pure pleasure. It's a car that's equally comfortable on mud roads as on the highways. It's sturdy, it's stylish, it's fast, it's smooth. What more could you ask for on a road trip? I've had just such fun driving this car. And now it's time for me to head back to Mumbai, so I better get back behind the wheel. But thanks so much for joining us, and I hope that you'll tune in again next week.